In the last chapter, I mentioned that research shows that employers often aren't in touch with the real reasons they hire someone. An interviewer may like or dislike an applicant because of factors that have little to do with the applicant's objective qualifications. They may both have attended the same school or both be bird watchers. Hold on, let me pick up my dog's poop. Or perhaps the applicant reminds the interviewer of a favorite uncle. For whatever reason, once the interviewer makes a gut-level decision, her unconscious often employs motivated reasoning to back that intuitive inclination. If she likes the applicant without realizing her motivation, she will tend to assign high importance to areas in which the applicant excels and take less seriously those in which the applicant falls short. In one study, participants considered applications from a male and a female candidate for the job of a police chief. There's a stereotypically male position, so the researchers postulated that the participants would favor the male applicant and then unwittingly narrow hold on. Would unwittingly narrow the criteria by which they judged the applicants to those that would support that decision. Here's how the study worked. There are two types of resumes. The experimenters designed one to portray a streetwise individual who was poorly educated and lacking in administrative skills. They designed the other to reflect a well-educated and politically connected sophisticate who had little street smarts. Some participants were given a pair of resumes in which the male applicant had the streetwise resume and the female was a sophisticate. Others were given a pair of resumes in which the men's and women's strong points were reversed. The participants were asked not just to make a choice but to explain it. The results showed that when the male applicant had the streetwise resume, the participant decided street smarts were important for the job and selected him. But when the male applicant had the sophisticated resume, they decided that street smarts were overrated and also chose the male. They were clearly making their decisions on the basis of gender and not on the streetwise versus sophisticated distinction. But they were just as clearly unaware of doing so. In fact, when asked, none of these subjects mentioned gender as having influenced them. Our culture likes to portray situations in black and white. Antagonists are dishonest, insincere, greedy, evil. They're opposed by heroes who are the opposites in terms of those qualities. But the truth is, from criminals to greedy executives to the nasty guy down the street. Come on. To the nasty guy down the street. People who act in ways we abhor are usually convinced that they are right. As well. The power of vested interest in determining how we weigh the evidence in social situations were nicely illustrated in a series of experiments in which researchers randomly assigned volunteers to the role of plaintiff or defendant in a mock lawsuit based on a real trial that occurred in Texas. Okay. I'm done with reading. I'm going upstairs to take a shower.